let's dig into what happened last night. The Lions dismantled the Vikings to win the North and the 1 seed. Let's just let Dan Campbell, who's probably not wearing a sweater that people are commenting about, instead of the win, right here.
You guys look like you remember who the you are! Yeah, that was awesome. That's a hell of a win, guys. All I can think about is, man, we've been forged in this stuff now. This has been 3 years in the making. Some of it 4. Like, that just doesn't happen. You got to work through it, grind through it, and go through the downs to get to the ups of where we're at. That was unbelievable, man. Division winners, back-to-back seasons, and the #1 seed.
Okay, most impressive complete performance the Lions have had in weeks, especially when it came down to Aaron Glenn. Hot name in the coaching market. This defense, he said, I want a coaching job somewhere. They grounded what had been an explosive Vikings offense. It took Detroit's offense a little while to kick into gear. They had 10 points late in the fourth quarter, but the defense held it down. Glenn, banged up, doesn't matter. The man coverage, the blitzing, the aggressivo of it all. You don't really see teams ever play Minnesota that way. We haven't, because they've got the speed, they've got the talent. Teams are afraid. Teams also don't have what it takes. The Lions, they were fearless. They always are. They racked up 10 quarterback hits, y'all. 2 sacks. They forced Sam Darnold to go one for 9. Matthew Hamilton, 1 for 9 inside the 10 is terrible. 18 for 41 overall. Kind of a lopsided score, but the red zone was where the real issues were. And just listen to Dan Campbell. Listen, I know this is totally going rogue. I'm going to WWE Raw this evening. Apparently, my first parlay into the wrestling world is going to be that. If Dan Campbell isn't on Raw at some point in this offseason after he potentially wins a Super Bowl, I will be disappointed. That voice, that everything, like he really is the perfect bite to get this started. And then when I look at this, it's hard for me to not think it's going to be these guys standing here in this column when all is said and done in New Orleans, Ham.
Yeah, I mean, the one question everybody had coming to these playoffs was the defense, the health of the defense. Can they keep it together with all those guys injured? And to do what they did last night, I think, answers all of those questions. And there still may be some rough moments for them here through the playoffs, but the offense is so good. If they can get efforts like that, I don't know who's taking them out.
They get to rest. The Vikings now have to travel to L.A., where, guess what? The Rams are kind of built the same way and can do the same kind of stuff to disrupt what the Vikings can do. If that was even the problem, or was it the pressure mounting? Was it the big spot that was the problem? Yikes. But we're going to give credit to the Lions here because friend of the show, Jahmyr Gibbs, we're talking about all the things that the defense is missing. They lost David Montgomery. And somehow Gibbs is like, yo, I got this, I'll do it. He did it again, 170 total yards, 4 touchdowns. He is averaging a ridiculous 162 yards per game, 6 touchdowns in these 3 weeks since Montgomery got hurt. He is in supersonic mode too. He's getting all the coins, okay? Yours, mine, the entire NFC. He's got the full workload on his plate. He's not shying from it. He's finishing the season with a league-leading 20 touchdowns and just under 2,000 total yards. Insane. I got to meet and talk to Jahmyr right before his first game without Montgomery. I was told, maybe let's not told, but advised, maybe like, do we even talk about Montgomery? It's fresh. It had literally just happened, and here's what he had to say.
I mean, there's this idea that you have to go supersonic down the stretch.
Yeah,
like,
I did see that, like, right before I got on. I seen that.
Yeah, like your Instagram profile pic now that David's out.
I don't really, take it, personally. So, I mean, when I seen that, it's just like, I'm just looking at it. I mean, I laugh or, depending on what it is, I laugh or like I just joke around with it most of the time. But, yeah, I mean, I just like the challenge. It's going to be fun.
Challenge is going to be fun, yeah, for him and not anybody else, okay? This was the understatement of the century. He's completely taken over the league, huge in the playoffs. And by the way, the Lions now jump Kansas City as the betting faves to win Super Bowl 59 at plus 300. Are you on FanDuel Sportsbook right now? You should be. The Chiefs are right there at plus 350. Bills, Ravens tied for third at plus 600. Eagles fourth at plus 700. To put into perspective how big last night was for the Lions' chances, the #1 seed makes the Super Bowl 53.3% of the time. Vikings fans are like, ooh, yeah, it's that big of a deal. The 5 seed has made it to the Super Bowl. This is crazy. 3.3% of the time. That's a low clip. That's according to NFL research. Huge night for Detroit, taking control of the conference. Vikings, Jared Allen will be on, Hall of Famer. I'm going to ask him all the questions. I'm trying to, the existential crisis I'm having in my head all morning on this call with Hamilton and my whole team is like, what is fair? Is it fair to now doubt them? They're a 14-win team. They won 14. They ran over everybody. Is it fair to overreact to this game because of the gravity of the game and what was in play? I don't know what's fair. I don't know how they bounce back. Hopefully they can. There are legit reasons I think Vikings fans will be able to say, too, about what we saw last night. The moment looked big. Nonverbals, reading the moment. If you aren't even a football fan, the pressure looked like it was impacting not only Sam Darnold, but maybe even their amazing Coach of the Year candidate who, like, might get traded to a team as a head coach. Like, it wasn't Kevin O'Connell's best game. Doesn't matter. Do we throw it out the window? Should we care? Can they go to LA and get a win? Well, let's dig into this with Jared Allen, maybe a little with Ben Solak.